Well, listen, we haven't been away that long. Match week 12 just happened. Match week 13 just happened. It's a condensed week, but ladies and gentlemen, viewers, listeners around the world, we will never abandon you. We won't abandon our post. We have to come back with the hot match week 13 takes. Ben and Geoff, welcome back to the podcast.
Pleasure to be.
It's too much football. Can we all agree? It's just too much. Too much of a good thing.
Well, it is, we all three, fortunately, are not counting on this podcast for our primary source of income. So we do have day jobs.
Whoa.
I quit my job. I thought this was for real. What's going on?
I've got to make some calls.
You never said this. What?
How do you recall an email? I'm in big trouble.
Oh, man. I might have lied on some mortgage applications. Anyways, no, it makes it tough. It makes it tough to be on the professional workday to really dive into football, midweek football. But that's my opening salvo, guys. Question of the day. Any fond memories you have of playing a little hooky, maybe looking at the computer screen during when you should have been working? Any fond memories you guys have of neglecting responsibilities to watch football middle of the week?
Now, I'm not sure I can ever admit to playing truant or to skipping off, but what I did used to do that was fun is I used to take the Champions League final off. And here, it's like a random Wednesday. It's 2:00. No one else cares. So everyone's like, why are you leaving at lunchtime on a 12? You go to the bar. The bar's quiet. You get some beers. But then it's a nice early start to the evening. So just to do something that you know that no one else knows, that's a good time.
So in my I have a classroom. Not that I've been in that classroom for it feels like forever now, but would always, if I'm not with my students, if I don't have students with me, I've got a great projector and a giant projection screen in my room. So I would, queue up the football and have it on a big giant, 100-inch TV screen in my room, put my feet up on the desk, lock the door, enjoy some football. But then usually the problem is I never have a break long enough to watch the whole game. So the bloody children come and spoil it. And that's the problem.
Two things. First thing is the company Ben and I work for, the senior most leadership is big England fans. So it's a nice way for me to saddle up to the CEO is that I can talk to him about English football when most of the company cannot. The second thing is I don't think I ever missed a class in college. I was very my attendance was great, but the one time I think I might have cut a little bit early. So probably the last time I cried in a football match, it was the Barcelona-Chelsea. God, what year was it? I'm gonna say 2008 Champions League, 2008 Champions League semifinal against Barcelona. Famous match where Michael Essien scores. It's the Pep Guardiola's most heralded side ever. Michael Essien scores the opening goal in the second leg, and then there should have been about 5 penalties that weren't called. And then Andres Iniesta in the 93rd minute just belts a ball into the back of the goal and breaks. I've never been so heartbroken in a match in my life, but that was the one time I think I cut class a little bit to watch a Chelsea match, was that Champions League semifinal. And it broke me mentally, physically, and spiritually. So it will always hold a deep place in my life.
Football will do that to you. Ben, remind me, am I just imagining this because of what Thurber just said? But didn't I have a memory of skipping a lecture at university to go and watch the Man United Bayern Munich final?
So I know that what happened was that was on at 8:00 at night, and I watched that in the main bar of Brunel. It was a late game, or maybe it was a Wednesday because we went out after that, and we got my roommate to come out, and it was just a great atmosphere in this big bar. But that was a late game. It was at night because then we went out straight afterwards.
Maybe we skipped the lecture and started early on the drinking there.
That was probably more likely.
Always remember that there was this one class, like we'd have one lecture, then there'd be a break, and there'd be a boring like GIS remote sensing lecture or something like that we'd always skip. I have a feeling that was on a Wednesday. I don't know if my memory is true or just making up a fun story, but yeah.
Most likely.
Anyways, both those matches that we're referencing, late goals involved, right? Ole, Andres Iniesta. The first match we're going to talk about, a very late goal was involved to tip the balance. Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1. Guys, we talked about it earlier. I thought Tottenham was going to win the match, but this maybe was almost better for the meta narrative around the match, because what we got was salty Mourinho. Salty, indignant Mourinho. Let me read. So, post-match, there's a little bit of a light dust-up between Mourinho and Klopp. A little bit of the handshake, and then, like, come back. Like, you have the handshake, someone says something, and you, like, pull it back. Like, wait, what did you say? Are we done with this conversation? So, Mourinho, after the match, is quoted, "A very, very unfair result. I told Jurgen the best team lost. He disagreed. If I behave the same way on the touchline as he does, then I would have no chance to stay on here." Ben, what do you think? First off, let's just kind of break those into two elements. A very, very unfair result. I told Jurgen the best team lost. He disagreed. What is your opinion on that statement from Mr. Mourinho?
I think it's expected. I think I've never heard such a sore loser attempt after losing last-minute goal, turning to your opposition manager and just saying, "Oh, good game, good game." But the best team lost out there. Where I don't think anyone would really. It depends what you mean by best team. That's for sure. I don't think it's true.
I do think that they had the better of the chances in the match. Like Bergwijn. I always struggle with his name. Definitely had some gilted-edged chances to put that match, at least go 2-1 up in the match. But
I'm what I find amazing about this, it's not just Mourinho's post-match, like his pre-match, it was out of control. His Instagram is blowing my mind. Did you see him? Did you see him pre-match when he was like he was? I didn't see the question that was asked. But he was probably asked something like, "Oh, do you feel that you have an opportunity here with all the injuries at Liverpool?" And he just starts slowly, dramatically, with dramatic pauses, listing off all the amazing Liverpool players that are not injured. Mane, he's not injured. Alisson, not injured. He will play. And it just goes on and on. And I was like, yes, this is Hollywood Jose Mourinho, and he is back. He's got the bit between his teeth. I love it.
But see, and Jeff, I wanted to sort of deconstruct that second statement, because I think this is all Mourinho now. Pre-match Mourinho and post-match Mourinho. I think that Jose is playing, if we're playing checkers, he's playing three-dimensional chess. I always think when he loses a match that he wants to distract the narrative that he lost the match. And he tries to create these little controversies so that, Bergwijn maybe, fluffing a few chances, or his back line not being able to hold out in the very end. Let's just distract from that. And let's just bring it all to Mourinho. That's the charitable reading of it. The non-charitable reading is he's a megalomaniac and needs to absorb all the spotlight for himself at all times. Jeff, what do you think? Do you think this is a masterclass? Is this a script that he always does, or is he just, delusional and he just creates controversy wherever he goes?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. I think that he definitely knows what he's doing. So in that moment after the match with Klopp, he's not doing that for the press. He's not doing that for the world. I think it's because there's less fans in the stadium and it can be heard and everyone sees what's going on and that interaction. And yes, it gets some traction. But it's in his post-match interview when he blames the post for them not winning the game and things like that. And he attacks, and you're right. I think there he does do it deliberately to take the spotlight off of his players, to release the pressure from his players. And to be honest, all the big, intense, die on their sword managers do that. Pep does it, and Klopp does it. A lot of them do that. But I think he also brings this he brings this X factor. I hate to use the phrase X factor, but he does bring this X factor that does draw the attention. It just naturally takes the spotlight. He is a very, very... He is charismatic, no matter if you hate him or love him or hate him. It's like, yeah, he's charismatic and he draws the spotlight. So I think it's a little bit of both. Intentionally, but also, like, God, he comes out with some shit and it's just brilliant.
But here's my worry, right? I don't know if this is good for the team or bad for the team. So he's creating this very siege mentality within the team. So now...
Create the siege mentality.
Exactly. That's how he does it.
Right.
But so Man United, Alex Ferguson always used to complain that every team he plays against raises a game because it's Man United. Is he going to run into the fact that all these teams now he's creating rivalries with, he's pissing off in the season, next time they play them, they raise the game? So is he making the games harder for his team? And it's not like it's a Chelsea where siege mentality runs through. This is a historically weak mentality team of Spurs, and lads, they're going to Spurs it up is a common phrase. Is he putting too much pressure on his team, and is that going to backfire, making every game a big game?
I don't know. I think the interesting thing with Mourinho is basically in the last couple matches, I imagine he tells them that the way the game is going to play out, and it's really played out the way that he's said it, like against Man City, against Chelsea, against Liverpool, minus Bergwijn not hitting the post. It's kind of all gone to plan. So I think his players right now are probably drinking the Kool-Aid, the second season Kool-Aid with Mourinho, right? But you're right, Ben. I don't think it's a sustainable strategy what he does. Nothing with Mourinho is sustainable, right? Like, this is second season Mourinho. Usually, every club, this is where it's at its best. Even with United, I think he got 80-something points. They finished second, right? But it's grating after a while. You can't be fighting these. It's just tiresome. But right now, this is the period where it's great, and he is. What he's saying is coming true, and that siege mentality is very galvanizing. But Ben, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you follow Jose on Instagram? I think Jeff made the awareness of it.
I do follow him, yeah.
He's just great at it. It's like a duck to water with Instagram. And did you see his latest post on Instagram? Oh, no,
I did.
There was one today, right? But Jeff brought it up. It was a still screenshot of Mourinho looking very, I don't know, pensive, angry, some sort of that. And it said, "The moment the post denied us victory we deserved. Proud of everyone. Come on, you Spurs." First of all, is it weird to you that a manager is using Instagram so effectively? Because most managers are I don't even look at this stuff, blah, 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 blah. But also, is it what's your opinion of Jose on Instagram?
I think he's dynamite, and it is unusual for a middle-aged man to be using it so effectively. I think sometimes it can get a bit cheesy, and he kind of eats himself sometimes with his own. He's in on the joke. I think that's a problem here. It's not like David Hasselhoff, where people were like, "Oh, Hasselhoff's great," and then Hasselhoff got in on the joke. I think he's in on the joke too, and I think that's starting to lose some of its appeal.
I think I was reading in the New York Times actually yesterday that he's openly talked about his presence on Instagram, and he is aware of it, and he's now just doing it for fun because he has enjoyment. He wants to make a connection with his fan. He's not doing it for any contractual reasons. He said at Man United he had someone tapping him on the shoulder every 2 days saying, "You need to do something on Instagram. What have you got to say? Stand over there by that picture by that flag, and we're going to take a picture of you and smile and like comb your hair. And it was like very choreographed and very managed. But he said like he got really bored of that really, really quickly. And that's what, like, after leaving Man United, he basically deleted his Instagram account. And then he comes back and he's like, yeah, I'm not doing this for any like contractual reason or to promote anything. It's just like I feel like, and it's almost like, and this goes along with like this shifting idea that I have of Mourinho. I have always detested and hated Jose Mourinho, but this year he's come back, and the moment he took over at Spurs, he had like this kind of, I don't know if he like realized that he didn't quite have his mojo. And so he thought, well, I'm gonna have to be nice because I can only be a cunt if I'm winning. And I think that he realized that and like started to be like, okay, I'm gonna have to smile a bit. I'm gonna be nice a bit, or whether he's just softened and mellowed with his own age, and whether that's why he in Instagram there's just like a picture of him sat there like eating some crisps. I don't like. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. It's good to see the human side of him.
What? Well, I think you've seen it before. Like, as someone who has a doctorate in Mourinhoology, like Mourinho, when he came back to Chelsea, was not the special one anymore. He was the happy one. I think what is interesting about Mourinho is his football is non-emotional, right? It is pragmatic, but he is so emotional that there is no manager that has better ups and downs. When he goes to war at your club, it is terrible, and it burns the club to the ground, where all of a sudden you win the championship, and the next season you're fighting relegation, right? Because when it goes bad with Mourinho, it goes terribly wrong. So I have no doubt that he's happy right now. He's riding a good streak. I don't like Spurs, but I do like Mourinho. Hopefully that we see the happy one. I will say this. I miss young Mourinho, and remember that coif of hair he used to have and the sort of sartorial jackets he used to wear? We don't really get that anymore. Maybe it's, he's aging out of it, but kind of used to be a little bit of a style icon. We don't really get that. Maybe that's a young game, sartorial Mourinho. Ben, we had a conversation about this, and we actually had a debate about this on a private message. Is right now in world football, is there a more like, oh my God, oh shit moment than, as Mourinho likes to say, Sonny Boy getting the ball on the left wing 1-versus-1 with the defender? Because it's going to be a goal. Right now, it is absolutely 100% going to be a goal. Is there a more thing as a rival fan that you fear than having the ball, Son having the ball in a counterattack?
So we were just talking about just how clinical he is, and we don't think there's another striker in the league that is as clinical as Son. And I think you were saying he may be the best forward right now, and I was disagreeing with you as well, wide forward. I think Timo Werner could take some notes around some one-on-ones. I think it takes where it takes Timo Werner maybe 10-in-1 to get a one-on-one. Rashford there takes about every 2. He might get a goal as well. But Son specifically, as he's not really known as a forward. Now he is, but now, it is just absolutely guaranteed, and in that system he has to be. I think he's so lucky that he's got Son on his team, and that must be something he's working on day in, day out. I loved it. I think he shaped for the outside post and then put it near post against Alisson, who's a quality keeper one-on-one as well. It was a thing of beauty. But I will say against Sonny as well, so he won that FIFA Goal of the Year against his goal against Burnley. I think that is the most overrated goal I have ever seen that everyone's ever talked about. It's all based on raw pace. He only beats 2 players. He only beats those 2 players by just knocking it past them and chasing it. And it only looks good because he's got a bunch of Burnley players swarming behind him the whole time. But it is all just pace built, and there's been so many better goals than that.
I agree. I wasn't a huge fan of the Son goal. I don't have the Puska Award nominees in front of me, so I can't immediately think. But I always sort of bias myself. I have biased myself to shots that are ripped, like the power of shots, as opposed to running with the ball or skill. I really roofing the ball. That's more of my personal where I get the most enjoyment of. It's a powerful shot. What was I going to say? Okay, Jeff, question. We haven't talked about Liverpool at all. So Mourinho kind of sucks up the air out of the room, but Liverpool, injuries and all, right? Although Jose would sort of say that those injuries don't matter as much. Is this the point? Is Liverpool going to kick on from here and really kind of separate from the pack? We don't think that City has it this year. They keep dropping points. Tottenham, I don't know the way they play. They can accumulate that many points. Is this the Christmas during Boxing Day? Do we see Liverpool sort of pull away from the mess that is 2 through 9 in the Premier League right now?
Yes, I think the answer is obviously we don't know for sure, and it is a weird season, right? But of all of those teams, if we're looking at the top, if we're talking about Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, I think Liverpool are the only serious candidates. I think they're the only ones who, they've got previous. They've got an inspirational, psychotic manager, which is always really helpful. They have depth of squad, even though they have lots of injuries. Just the way Fabinho has fitted into that defense is magic. And I just don't see anyone else doing it. But also, what blows my mind about this is people were questioning whether Liverpool could do it at the start of the season, after their beautiful, amazing year. After all the trophies that they won. And I remember do you remember the previous season where they just lost out on against Man City? After that, people saying, oh yeah, Man City have got this easy. So hang on a second. Look at what Liverpool are doing. Look at what they've put together. Look at the players they've got. Look at the intensity. Look at the uniqueness of the style of play. And look at the quality of their fullbacks just on their own. They have something very, very, very special. It still blows my mind today where I hear pundits constantly talking about, oh yeah, I think Man City's probably going to win it, particularly at the start of this season. But even now, if you go on 538, I don't know where they get their data from. They still have Man City as favourites for the Premier League, with a 46% chance of winning versus Liverpool at 29%. I'm just very, very confused. Man City also, by the way, are also favourites to win the Champions League, according to however they crunch their numbers. I just don't see anyone else with the experience, the longevity, the squad to win this league. I just don't see it. Spurs are the only people who might challenge them. But looking at the expected goals and the chances that they're creating, it is requiring the ruthlessness of Son to never miss a bloody shot. That's what they've been living off of at the moment. Was it expected goals 5, scored 10 or something mad like that? So yeah, Liverpool all day long for me.
Ben, do you agree? Is this the point where we see Liverpool sort of put some distance between the chasing pack?
So I don't think so. I think it's really interesting though. I think this first to second game with such differing styles just goes to show you how interesting the league is, and it's still wide open as well. I think that you've seen Liverpool drop easy chances or easy games, and they've won hard games as well. This game could have gone either way. I think they hit the bar. They had good chances, and it took a last-minute winner to make it 2-1. I think there's so many more twists and turns left in this Premier League. I think Liverpool have done amazingly to get as far as they have with the injuries they have, and their system speaks really well to that. And the fact they're still in it at this point with the injuries they've had is huge. But I think there's going to be many more twists and turns, and I don't think Liverpool have this wrapped up or even really there's a clear favourite right now as well. But I will say I'm super excited because it's probably the most open Premiership we've had. It could be any of 6 teams, realistically.
It feels like a Leicester winning the championship season where the top team is not going to accumulate 90 points. They may not even accumulate 80 points, right? We'll wrap this match with this. My wife hails from Brazil, so she's pretty partial to Allison, also partial to the guy with beards. Like, it helps a lot. I don't know about my goalkeeper wearing pants. I don't like it. What do you think about Allison wearing joggers into the? It just seems like he was wearing joggers into the game yesterday.
It's cold. It's cold and the ground's hard, and you're in Manchester. I can't blame him for that. Maybe he doesn't think he's going to get many shots. He knows they don't get only 2 chances in Liverpool's box. He knows he's going to have a quiet night. He's going to wrap up. I think you're lucky he didn't have a little hat on, maybe some gloves, maybe a little face warmer. And he's from Brazil. This is freezing. You want to torture him even more and put him in shorts? I say, you wear what you want, buddy.
It just looks like it was something I would go to get brunch with. Like, just black on black, like with black joggers. That's a kind of my like brunch style. If I in a world not racked by COVID, where I would go to an indoor dining facility to get brunch, like that, like, it wouldn't be dissimilar, right? So, Geoff, what do you think about your goalkeeper wearing pants?
I think they're great. I think they're not. There isn't enough padding on them. So when I was a kid, goalkeeper joggers had like big fat pads on the knees. Also, goalkeeper shirts had big pads on the elbows as well. I'm just wondering what happened to all of that. I don't think they're kitted out enough. Maybe it's the undersole heating that these la-di-da Premier League elite athletes have these days, where it's all still soft and cushy, so they can like dive on the floor without hurting themselves. But where we're from, where we grew up, playing on frozen ground with frozen toes, being forced to go out after school or at lunchtime for football club to play football, and it was miserable. So yeah, wrap up. That's what I'd say.
All right, guys. Well, brunch apparel lives on. So as we close that match, kind of do our spin around the league. I'm going to recall back in the early podcast when we looked at the transfer window and we looked at the best signings, the worst signings. There was one signing that I highlighted as one of the worst signings for a non-top 6 side. And let me tell you, it was Theo Walcott returning to Southampton. I hated it for a lot of different reasons. For someone that relies on pace, he's getting older. I don't believe you go backwards in football. People that go backwards generally don't do well. You never return home. Well, guys, Theo Walcott's been pretty good for Southampton. Arsenal won, Southampton won. Walcott scoring that goal against Arsenal to sort of, even though Southampton didn't win the match, but to like further drive the dagger into Arsenal's sort of crumbling facade. I don't know, Ben. I thought it was poetic. What did you think?
I just think when you think Arsenal, there could be nothing more in the closet to embarrass Arsenal anymore after being embarrassed every which way, then you pull out a Theo Walcott-sized embarrassment, and suddenly he's back to his early 21, breaking through and chips a keeper. I love it. I love the twisting of the knife. I love the celebration afterwards as well, and I'm glad it's happening against Arsenal. I couldn't have been happy with the whole result.
So, Geoff, we have here good news and bad news for Arsenal.
Yep.
We've been tracking Aubameyang goals versus red cards, and it's been high. It's been high red cards. Red cards is taking the lead. Good news. Aubameyang scored a decent goal, not like world class, a decent goal, but we got another red card. Another red card for Arsenal. Geoff, we thought that Arsenal has a discipline problem. We got another red card. What do you think about Arsenal lack of discipline in this match?
I know. I know. Like I'm the lover of a choke, and it's very controversial. I didn't actually see regretting that last week, but I didn't actually see the sending off. I was working, and like we talked about this, right? We are working this week. We have jobs. And I did have the game on in the background. I did see the Arsenal goal. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was like Arsenal at its best, that goal. But I didn't see it. I mean, like 2 yellow cards. What I did see was like the guy. I saw him like holding his head in his hands in disbelief after getting that second yellow. I think a second yellow can happen to anyone. I don't know if that is a discipline issue. I'm going to defend it again, although to be honest, I haven't even seen it, so I shouldn't really be talking about it. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Well, I guess I was just saying that, like, it's just funny. It's just funny to me when it rains and pours. Like, even if it's just a second yellow, they can't escape the red cards. Like, it's going to come. It's not even David Luiz getting the red cards, right? Like, that's the funny thing is the man who is most prone to get red cards is been on his best behavior a little bit lately.
Can I just see two things? So I agree with Geoff. I don't think this was down to a discipline or frustrated players. It was just down to two clumsy tackles which produced yellow cards. But with the Aubameyang goal, it came with him playing in the centre. Now, again, he started on the left, but for the goal, he was in the centre, latched onto that ball and put it away. I think that the more you get Aubameyang in the middle, the more goals he's going to score. And hopefully that little nugget drops for Arteta because he needs to start doing something quick.
Boy, he does.
Do you think this comes? Do you think that this is a Pep shadow, a Pep-shaped shadow in Arteta's brain, where he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to stick my best players on the wing. Like you've got, that he likes to have Mahrez and he likes to have Sterling coming in off of the flanks, and it's very, very, very effective. Because obviously you've either got like Aguero or Jesus, and then behind that you've got KDB, and it's like this beautiful team. And do you think that is something coming out of the Pep playbook that's like maybe do you think he's a little bit blinkered over this? That he's like, oh no, he's got to go out on the wing. I want him playing in, but is it really the best for the team?
I think he's trying to get his best players on the pitch. Like I think he's trying to get Lacazette, Aubameyang. Oh, I don't think Willie. Lacazette is one of their three best attacking players, right? Like, probably full stop is one of their three best attacking players. And the way to sort of get a Lacazette on the field is playing through the center and then put Aubameyang on the left. So I don't think it's to maximize Aubameyang. I think it's to try to maximize the collective, right? It's just they don't have a true, like, who's their true number 9 in that team? I guess Aubameyang, but like Lacazette is undeniably probably one of the three best attacking options, but he's not all that great either. I say he's undeniably one of their three best attacking options, but they don't have it very good. It's not a very good attacking trident. Like, I don't know, old man Williams not really scaring me from the right flank either. So Ben, you think that we should continue with Aubameyang through the center, and that's the way for Arsenal salvation?
I think they need to do something differently. I think everyone said how much they left the field with low confidence. It definitely showed. Although it was 1-1, Southampton dominated the majority of play, although Arsenal could have won that in the last minute with that shot that hit the bar. But they have Everton and Chelsea next. I think there'll be really, really interesting games. I could see them losing both of those quite easily. But then they've got a nice run after that. And Arsenal normally pick up points after Christmas anyway. That's when they really hit their stride. So if he can get some points from Everton and Chelsea, I think he might be okay.
Well, probably to get some points from Chelsea because Chelsea's playing quite bad. Let's go to another side of London. I guess East London right here. West Ham won, Crystal Palace won. Ben Haller. So Sebastian Haller. Sometimes I really choke with the pronunciations. I really probably shouldn't be doing this from a pronunciation standpoint. Not really that good at it. Anyways, last week I saw him try a bicycle kick. It did not come off. This week he tried a bicycle overhead kick. It was best kiss, great. But I want to put something in your head. First off, react to this goal. How did you appreciate it? Was it very good?
I absolutely loved it. So a lot of bicycle kicks are scuffed. I'm thinking like the Wayne Rooney shinner that he hit. Yeah. This one was such a clean hit with such power. It's probably one of the best bicycle kicks I've seen in a while. Goals like that get you goal of the season, or at very least strong consideration for goal of the season. Now, I know that it was a soft chip in, but he hit it so well. Minus points for not smiling after the celebration. I've never seen someone look so angry after scoring such a peach of a goal. But yeah, I absolutely love this goal. This is my goal of the game weeks for me.
So that's what I wanted to question. So here is my bias is I have no doubt that's a more technical goal, but the sheer power of the Jack Harrison goal on the counterattack in the Leeds-Newcastle match, am I wrong, for someone who hasn't played the sport, am I wrong for thinking that that's a better goal?
So are you thinking of the diving header or the screamer, the last goal in the top corner? Because both of those are magical.
The screamer, the counterattack screamer, where he's running to the left and then puts it in the right corner.
Yeah, that was great. Technically, I think the problem with that, with the bicycle kick, is there's so many things that go into it. It's such a hugely, one, it's athleticism. You need that component. 2, you have to have such a great technical ability. 3, you have to have great timing. So it's really a combination of just being a great athlete who's very good at football to hit a bicycle kick well. It's probably one of it's much harder to hit a sweet bicycle kick than it is to hit one in the top corner on the run. That's what I feel. Although I can do neither.
Jeff, what do you think?
Hang on, you can't run or you can't kick the ball.
All of the above.
Okay, just checking.
Jeff, are you a bicycle kick fan? Does it really get you going when you see a good bicycle kick?
Yeah, and you know what? To the point where we, I don't know if you remember towards the end of last season, and Watford trying their best to get relegated, which they ended up doing successfully. I don't know if you remember we scored an overhead kick. We scored a bicycle kick to get
Welbeck.
Danny Welbeck, right? But I mean, it's I'm annoyed. It was like a waste of an overhead kick because it was like up in the air. It was too high when he made contact with it. He scuffs it off the side of his foot. It like bends and spins and loops over the keeper into the top corner. And everyone's like, yeah, but it's an overhead kick. I mean, that is just like luck. And you have probably more chance of winning the lottery than putting that in the back of the net the way that he did it. And so, but I am a fan of like this goal from Haller, which is, it was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it? Like it was a rocket. It was an absolute rocket. It like bulged the back of the net. And that's what an overhead kick should be like. So yeah, absolutely love it.
I will say this, Danny Welbeck, my prototypical example of not a prolific goal scorer, but a scorer of great goals. Somehow, like, Danny Welbeck will score a goal, and I'm like, how is that possible? He doesn't really score that many goals. I'm a big Danny Welbeck fan.
Yeah, definitely.
Glad to see he's still kicking around in the Premier League. But another player that's kicking around in the Premier League, someone you called out, I think 2 weeks ago as winner of the week, had a big impact on this match. Christian Benteke, he's back in the scoring. His scoring boots are back on, but he also got sent off in this match.
Yeah, I think me picking him as winner of the week really helped his confidence. And now, because of my faith in him, he's now showing it on the field. And I think that's all that was missing as well. That sending off, though, was harsh. So 2 yellow cards for jumping for headers. Very, very harsh. And I think the biggest problem here is for Benteke, not just being suspended, but this was really starting to turn his last few years of his career around. And he started to build confidence, get that momentum back. And I worry now, time out the game, missing 3 games, he's going to really start back on square one and maybe find it hard to build up that momentum again. So it's a shame because I love the player too, just as he's getting back on form, just to take a 3-week absence.
One game for second yellow, three games for straight red.
There you go. That's why you're the chief.
Not as bad as we thought. Okay. West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 1. Guys, we sort of talked about Man City 1, West Brom 1. You know, who cares? I mean, Man City dropped points, but who cares? But then news broke. And we have a returning king to the Premier League, someone that I have admired from afar for probably just more his jawline than anything else, and just his desire for. I think they call Mourinho anti-football, but there's no one quite like him. Geoff, what are your thoughts on the return of Sam Allardyce to save West Brom?
How long have we got?
Oh man, we got time. We got time.
Right. There are few people in football that I despise as much as Sam Allardyce. Okay, so apart from the fact that he's not a very good manager, I think he's a good manager, right? He's a good club manager, but that's not really what the game is looking for anymore. It's not looking for the traditional archetypal football manager where you have control of the signings, the comings and the goings of the club and the training and the diet and all of these things. He's just so lost in the past, and he's absolutely terrified of it. And I don't really know why he cares. He's a millionaire, so I don't care why this bothers him so much. Maybe it's his big fat head ego. Can't stand the guy. In 2017, right? When asked about like how difficult it is to like get, obviously, guess who interviewed him? Richard Keys. We wouldn't be any surprised that he's like Richard Keys' best fan, like hating on foreigners. But he said that us English managers are deemed as second class because it's your own country. Like Brexit talk through and through. The man is he's the antithesis of like what I think a human being should be. Obviously, there are worse, but I can't stand him. He also said the Premier League is a foreign league in England. Now, this is Brexit. This is Brexit, like otherism talk, if ever I've heard it. And I don't think that the modern game needs a man like that. And I'm surprised. I guess it shows how desperate West Brom are. Like, really, no one else wanted to go there. They had to go with Big Sam. Big fat head Sam. I'm not interested.
So you will or won't be sending him a Christmas card this season, Jeff. Ben, what are your thoughts? Big Sam back in the Premier League.
I agree. Don't support anything he says, but I will say his record is hugely impressive. He is like the Winston Wolfe of the Premiership. If you've got a problem, if there's a dead body that you need to hide, you call Sam Allardyce, and he's the fixer. He comes and takes care of it. I think to be known as this kind of relegation whisperer, where if your club is just being terrible, you're going to go down. He's brought in. He's never been relegated, which is credit where credit's due. That is hugely impressive to come in there, turn around the fortunes of a team any which way you can, make them defensive and keep them up. And that's what they're looking for, and that's what they need right now. So love him or hate him, I think he's got to get some recognition for doing that as well. But I think also Big Sam is like that ex-military substitute teacher who gets brought in for a naughty class when their teacher goes out with stress. And like, this is your punishment for not being good children this whole time. In comes Big Sam Allardyce as well. So, I mean, but I think it's harsh as well for Slaven Bilic. I think it's really indicative of that game. So you've got Man City with all their money, but what it really came down to is their sponsorship. So you look at Man City's sponsorship on their shirt, Etihad Airways, United Arab Emirates' own private airway, all that money flowing into the club. I will buy both of you a drink if you tell me who West Bromwich Albion's shirt sponsor is.
I don't know, but it better be something like crisp or hot dogs when Big Sam coming in, right? That's the corporate interview that you want.
Is it Liquid Nails?
It is close. Ideal Boilers. That is who West Bromwich.
I knew to be in that industry. I knew it.
That's it. I don't know what you want here. Like, this is what you expect to win with this team as well. I will say West Bromwich Albion has a sweet place in my heart, and for one reason and one reason only. They have one of my namesakes, so Sam Field, plays West Bromwich Albion. He's been there quite a lot. He's only made 3 appearances this season. He's 22, 6'2" midfielder. He's maybe going to get more chances under Big Sam as well. But I love seeing a player come on with your own name on the back of his shirt as well. So that's a shirt I could buy and feel good to wear as well. So
hang on, but you like the colour of that shirt? You like the is that like the kind of thing you like to wear?
I might not get that
thing.
I'm not going to get their away kit where I think I did like it. I think it looks like Rising for the Phoenix, but I like their home kit.
Okay.
Blue and white, yeah.
Ideal boilers. That's all I want.
So, for me, there is no one's shape of their cranium that I enjoy more than Big Sam. I just love the shape, his proportion.
Like the shape of a potato that you can't tell if it's longer or wider.
Yeah, exactly. It's my head. I love him. He looks great on. I'm a big fan of body diversity in any field. We've had a bunch of slender boys as Premier League managers. He is not a slender boy, so I love it. Welcome back, Sam, and we'll see what happens. So hopefully, West Brom seems to be a good club. Let's keep them up. We'll see what we can do.
Turtleneck watch. Very quickly, do you see Pep's? He rocked the tactical black turtleneck this game as well. And Scott Parker brought out that old high blue neck number again as well, 2 weeks in a row.
Do we call what Arteta is wearing a turtleneck? Because it has a zip into the neck. Like, I consider that a turtleneck.
Oh, okay. Controversial. Probably not.
I don't consider that a turtleneck. Guys, our winners of the week. I'm going to go quickly in this. Again, I was nursed at the teat of Mourinho. I love a good Mourinho rivalry with a manager. I think the best one's with Wenger. Guardiola gets the headlines, but he really used to needle Pep and Arsene, call him the voyeur. I think we got another great rivalry brewing between Mourinho and Klopp. So I think the Mourinho Klopp, the first really opening salvo of that rivalry took place, and I'm here for it. So Mourinho and Klopp rivalry is my winner of the week. Ben, who's your winner of the week?
I'm going to go Klopp, but not because he won, but really because he is my GQ man of the year. And this is for someone that never wears a suit, only wears leisure wear. He made New Balance cool. Like, have you seen him in all his New Balance gear on the side of the field? Last year, he looked absolutely amazing. I'm a bit sad this year their clothes sponsors switched to Nike and he's not dripping in New Balance. But he looks great in the whole leisure wear ensemble. He's my hero of the week.
His teeth are a little off-putting. They're
so
too
much.
White. They're so white that, they just grab my attention. Like teeth aren't really supposed to, when the camera's way, it's a gravitational pull to his face. Just too white. He overdid it.
His clothes are on point.
It's like from a blast from the past. It's like, remember Phil Brown from the manager?
Mm-hmm.
I remember him, but it's like when you do in the tanning bed. It's just too much. For all you kids out there, Google Phil Brown Hull City. You'll see what I'm talking about. Jeff, who is your winner of the week?
I hate to go with Mourinho again, but it is him. Just like everything he's doing, Mourinho's back. Return of the Mac. The man's back. I'm in love with him in a new and different way. Just particularly just the weirdness and wackiness of his pre-match press conference this week, listing all the Liverpool players. It's like not too far from the days when Benitez pulled out the piece of paper and started listing statistics and lies and facts and things. So more of that, please.
So for my loser of the week, I'm going to call on can we say Spurs legend, Tim Sherwood? Spurs legend, Tim Sherwood. I think when Sherwood take over for Harry Redknapp, was he the interim after Harry Redknapp? I can't exactly remember.
Tactics, Tim.
On the sideline, he was one of the last managers to go for a vest, like a tactical vest. But did you guys see the clip of Tim Sherwood basically saying there is no way that Liverpool will score a goal from this corner and instantly, bam, Firmino goal. It was just great because it sort of plays into the Tim Sherwood is a knob sort of like narrative. So I love that clip. I miss Tim Sherwood. I miss incompetent managers at clubs that I really don't like. And he was one of my favorites. So loser of the week, Tim Sherwood for that clip. Jeff, who is your loser of the week?
My loser of the week. You know what? I've got to be honest with you. I ain't got a loser of the week. I haven't got one. Nothing springs to mind really. I'm sorry.
You're the loser of the week. Ben, we'll move on.
I'm the loser of the week.
Dunks cap on Jeff.
So I've gone for Dean Henderson. So today in his game against Sheffield. So firstly, it's so rude starting Henderson in his one Premiership start this season against the team he starred in last year. Completely unnecessary and only done to put the knife into Sheffield. Then, in like 2 minutes in, he ponders on the ball for the first goal, gets robbed, gets knocked in. Now, I imagine, switch to the interview with Henderson. Do you remember the movie Seven? Do you remember Lust?
Yes.
Lust is when that guy has to go down in the brothel and do stuff with the woman wearing that horrible contraption, and then cut to the same interview with Henderson. Henderson screaming, "Get this off me! Get this off me!" Tearing at his United badge, traumatized about the whole experience. That's what his post-match interview would be if they sat him down. It would be exactly the same, shot for shot, the scene from Seven around Lust.
Do we think that Sheffield is going to approach Derby's points record or like lacks of points record? I mean, they're 13. We're 13 matches in. They have 1 point?
Yep. Yeah, they're doing a good job.
It's getting a point where like it is. I think first of all, relegation is inevitable at this stage. The question is it going to be a record? And I can see it happening. If there's any good news for them, it is that they are massively underperforming their XG. And we are at the halfway point of the season. I wouldn't like refer to XG on just like a game by game basis, but I can't remember the actual figures. I was looking at them, but they are massively underperforming, just like Spurs are massively overperforming. So I'd like to see them start to pick up points. But the question is, how shot is their confidence at the moment? That could have a negative feedback effect.
Jeff, as the only person on this call whose club has been relegated, you will be my relegation correspondent. If you had to be relegated...
Relegation correspondent? That's a bit hard. I didn't sign up for that. Come on, man.
If the shoe fits. As the relegation correspondent, would you rather get relegated in spectacular fashion, like what's going to happen to Sheffield, where it's going to have maybe even a record, something that you can say we were just absolute shit, or get relegated on the last day of the season, like total ineptitude or heartbreak at the end of the season?
So I think it's got to be heartbreak, because then you have time you have a time for acceptance and realization. Whereas we had hope all the way until the very, very end. And then that really sucks. Like to have that false hope is very, very painful. So yeah, like get it out the way. Like for like Sheffield United fans, you know what? You know what's happening, accept it. Start thinking about the Championship next season, or I will warn you that all the Sheffield United fans who are currently saying, but you know what, it's going to be more fun down in the Championship, going to score more goals. Not the case for Watford this season. So while we are like there or thereabouts, and we are kind of up there, like goals are very hard to come by. So I don't know. Give it to me early.
Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should formalize this relegation correspondent, and Jeff gives his his opinion on the bottom 4 clubs each week, or 5 clubs each week.
Okay.
I'm just teasing.
It's not fun, is it? It's real. Okay.
I'm just teasing. I don't know. I kind of think that maybe if we're gonna be bad, let's go for historically bad, and let's and almost revel in it, because like Sheffield United fans, like I mean, this year, like, it just sucks for the entire year to be like, it's over. I mean, like, their year is over. They're going to have to wait until next August to be playing decent football. And it's just week to week that would suck. So I might be in the if I were Sheffield United, I'd be going for the Derby record. Maybe.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Okay, guys. We have a busy next couple weeks from the Premier League, but this weekend we have a set of matches. We actually have games going into Monday and then turnaround on. Like, the turnaround next week is going to be really short, really, really, really short for these teams. But let's look ahead to next week or this weekend's action. My bronze medal, my third most anticipated game, Ben, your lot, take on Leeds. Leeds coming back, sort of rounding back into form. How do you feel about taking on Bielsa's side?
I think we feel good. I think the way that our team is structured on the break with two holding midfielders, I think we're going to do some damage. So I think we can soak up pressure and hit them on the break. I think again our game against Sheffield shows that we can score some very, very high quality goals. So I think this being at home in our formation, I think it sets us up for success.
I'd agree, and it's kind of like I'm starting to think of this Leeds a little bit like Kevin Keegan's Newcastle United. Like you know what they're gonna do. You know that and good for them for bringing it. But yeah, Man United are built for this game.
Okay, I as the number one Leeds bandwagon rider am looking forward to that. The second match, the two sides that I think are the most pressing, probably the most press-oriented sides in the Premier League. Southampton, which I found out that Hasenhutl's probably not going to get that job at Dortmund, which is Leverkusen coach or something like that.
The Borussia Dortmund, yeah.
No, Dortmund's going to hire.
Anyway?
Leverkusen guy is going to get the Dortmund job. Anyway, Hasenhutl against Guardiola, two pressing sides. How do we feel like, dude, is Southampton going to keep? I know they had a draw versus Arsenal, but do you think they can take down the big boys in City?
I think this could be a draw. I wonder if Southampton have enough to break City down. I wonder if City have enough to break Southampton down. I think this could be another 1-1. But City need to start scoring some goals, and Aguero's back, and maybe he's fit. I don't know, but I think this could be a low-score draw.
I did read something interesting. It looked at sides pressing this season versus last season, and it seems that every side besides Leeds and Southampton have decreased their press. The amount of games they're playing. So I'm wondering if Southampton, Leeds this week, we're playing games every 3 days. For sides that aren't used to playing like that, unlike the big boys who have the Europe games and stuff like that, who have to play twice a week, are these sort of stalking horse teams that are relying on the press, are they going to break down in this December, January thing? Jeff, do you think there's any validity to that theory that the press can't sustain this sort of schedule, what am I trying to say here? Congestion.
Yeah, well, I think it's the other way around. I think that they've already realised that they cannot maintain the press, and therefore they're pressing less. That's what I think is happening. I don't think they're just like all of these teams are just magically not pressing as much. I think it's like a tactic to keep them fit, keep them moving, longevity for the season. So I think that's part of the design for all of these teams going into it. Like these are elite teams with elite fitness setups and physios and everything you could possibly need to make decisions about to influence tactics. That's what I see happening. I don't know if I'm giving them too much credit by saying that. Maybe, I don't really know. I think they'll make it just because they've eased off. I think, yeah.
Hold on 1 second. We're gonna have a doggy appearance. A little Miss Villanelle is gonna say hi.
Oh, hello. Why is she putting her feet up in the air like that? That's very cute.
She does that. she does that. She lets me. She wraps her little feet around her arms when I hold her like this. But
Oh my God.
yeah, she's a little cute.
Why isn't Suki that well behaved, or is it a reflection of a bad manager?
Well, I've got a dog. Thurman's got a cat, so they're completely different species.
That's rude. I mean, she can hear you with her big ears, right? Like, let's be nice on the phone call. The Villanelle special last match of the game, Jeff. Last match of the week that we want to highlight. Your sort of dreamboat manager du jour, Jose Mourinho, takes on Leicester City. Is this going to be a staring match to see which side's going to counterattack? I wonder if any player that Mourinho could sign, what do you think he would do with Vardy? Like, would that be the greatest? Would that be the greatest manager player arrangement ever of all time? Like, I think it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Like, I mean, Mourinho could defend even deeper if he had Vardy. He could spend even more time with his team in his own half. He could give up more possession. It's like, it would be his absolute dream come true. You'd love that. Could you imagine? It'd be the most anti-football thing you've ever seen in your life. This game's really hard to call. I think obviously Spurs have the upper hand here because I think Leicester. I've seen a little bit of a wobble with Leicester lately, and they've looked a little bit vulnerable at the back as well. So it's so hard to call. Even the Southampton Man City one is hard to call as well. But I'm going with Spurs. No, this is what I'm going with. I'm going with a Leicester like 95th minute penalty, just because I want to see Jose's reaction at the end of it.
One of my favorite sort of, Ben, I'll get your opinion on this match. One of my favorite sort of overlooked narratives is that Brendan Rodgers, I think, was assistant manager under Mourinho. And can you imagine Brendan Rodgers being an assistant manager under anyone, and how big that ego must have been? So I think it probably kills Brendan Rodgers that he is not the most talked about manager in this match. So I think there might be a dust up like handshake. I don't know if those two alpha males can get along. So I'm sort of looking forward to the managerial narrative associated with this match. Ben, what do you think about Leicester and Spurs?
So I think just to draw a line through all of this, through like the pressing conversation, I think, and who's most set to win this, I think not just the team that presses less and saves energy, but the team that rotates its squad the most as well. So I think the manager that most successfully rotates his players this season is the one that's going to have the longest success. So what I'm really interested to see from this game is if Spurs play with the same people, they start Son, they start Kane, and how they can play in such back-to-back days as well, because this is going to be a reflection for the entire season. Can they stay fit? Can they stay as energetic with high energy levels for the rest of the season? I think Spurs are going to struggle only because they're relying on one or two key players, and that's not a recipe for longevity.
Yeah, I think he's going to run little Sonny Boy down to the ground. Like Son is what Chelsea fans like. I think Mourinho used to talk about the undroppables. It was basically like Terry, Lampard, Czech, Drogba, just kind of straight through the pitch. I think that's what's going to happen with Son. Son's not coming out of any match. Neither is Kane. Period.
But did like Son's a machine.
Yeah.
Like when he was on like a military duty with South Korea, he didn't he finish top of his regiment or something? He just blasted them all away, and then he came back and played like a machine when he got back. It's like, I don't know, it's like the Terminator, like unstoppable. I just don't see him getting tired. He's very special. I don't see him getting tired. Harry Kane can look very flat-footed at times, and he gets exhausted. We saw that last season and the season before. We've seen him in an England shirt in the summer, looking really tired and really, really, really struggling for form in major championships with England. But Son, I've never seen it. Never seen him get tired.
certainly didn't get tired on the Ben's favorite goal of the season last year when he was sprinting down the field.
Yeah, he can run. That boy can run.
That boy can run. Well, guys, it's time to call it a week. We will all be looking forward to the holidays here pretty quickly. So, and what is the holidays to Americans? Just the holidays. But what is it to us football-loving fans? It is holidays and football. It is the best time of the year. So we get to combine two of our favorite things, family and sport. So looking forward to you guys. Let's have health and happiness in the over Christmas. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right, boys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.